the year and this has not been recorded in the books of account. Bank term loan bank term loan interest actually paid up to 31/3/2016 was rupees 20,000 and the balance was paid in October 2016. So we'll check on this. Housing loan principal repaid during the year was 50,000 and it relates to residential property occupied by him. Interest on housing loan was rupees 23,000. Housing loan was taken from Canara Bank. These amounts were not dealt with in the profit and loss account given above. So this were not given. It is quite clear that it is a part of HP. So now you will get a grip, because in this sum there is house property also there is depreciation also there, and PGPP income you have to also calculate. Depreciation allowed under the act is to be computed on the basis of following information. You have to compute it. It is not already computed. Okay, it is computed as per the accounting standard, but you have to compute as per the Income Tax Act. Depreciation allowed under the act is to be computed on the basis of the following information. Opening WDV on 1/4/2015 12 lakh. Addition during the year used for more than quite generous of the examiner 2 lakh. Total addition during the year 4 lakh. That means the remaining 2 lakh will be less than 180 days. Note: ignore additional depreciation under section 32 subsection 1 subsection Roman 2. They have already said it. So our assumption, our skepticism helped us that we came to know additional depreciation will be part, because he is a manufacturing concern, but they have already given ignore additional depreciation. Quite generous. Compute the total income of Mr. Raju for the assessment year 2016-17. Ignore application of section 14A for disallowance of expenses in respect of any exempt income. Just ignore that. They have already said ignore, so ignore it. Now let's start with the adjustment first. Administrative charges including rupees 46,000 paid as commission to the brother of the SSC. The commission amount at the market rate is 36,000. It shows that 10,000 is paid in excess. So 10,000 will become disallowed business expenses and it will be added back. As you can see over here, disallowed business expenses, excess commission paid to the brother disallowed under section 40A subsection 2, rupees 10,000. First write the net profit over here. Quite self-explanatory. I am explaining how to do this sum. That's all. SSC paid rupees 33,000. It is allowed under section 40A subsection 3 rule 6DD. I have given y'all. I'll show it to y'all again. So that you can, I'm sorry for that. So that you can also refer to your theory. Rule exemption under rule 6DD. If payment made to a transport operator up to rupees 35,000 per person per day by cash will be allowed as exemption. So you can also see it in your theory books. It is quite effective, I hope. So 33,000 will be allowed, it won't get disallowed. A sum of rupees 4,000 per month was paid as salary to the staff throughout the year and this has not been recorded in the book. Since salary is paid, it is a part of expenses, it is allowed, so it will become unrecorded business expenses and it will be subtracted. See where it is. $4,000 per month. 4,000 per month into 12 comes to 48,000. See over here, students, salary paid to the staff not recorded in the book. Assume that the expenses in the nature of unexplained expenses and hence is deemed to be income as per section 69C and would be taxable at the rate of 30% under section 115 BBE. No deduction allowed in respect of such expenses. Please write over here alternatively unrecorded business expenses and just less it. I have written no over here because I personally believe we can assume this. Instead of assuming so much, we can assume a small thing. Here it has already given alternatively it is also possible to take a view that salary not recorded in the books of account is of erroneous omission and that the SSE has offered satisfactory explanation for the same. In such a case, the same should not be added back as unexplained expenditure but would be allowed as deduction while computing profit and gain. So it is quite clear. Please do not follow this pattern. Follow alternatively unrecorded business expenses less 48,000. And let's move on. Bank term loan interest actually paid up to 31st/3/2016 was 20,000 and balance was paid in October. Bank term loan, it is specifically said under section 43B, it is on paid basis. So where it is interest on bank loan, so 40,000 will become, out of 60,000, 20,000 is allowed, 40,000 will become disallowed business expenses and it will be added back. See, bank term loan interest paid after the due date of filing return under section 139 subsection 1 disallowed as per section 43B, that is paid basis 40,000. I hope this is clear. Now housing loan principal repaid during the year was rupees 50,000. So it is a part of ATC, payment of principal, and in relation to the residential property, quite self-explanatory. Interest on housing loan was 23,000. We have to calculate HP for this, income from house property for that. Okay, then let's move. Then we have to see depreciation. We have to calculate depreciation now. On 14 lakhs, normal depreciation will be 15%, 2,10,000. Memory plus it. On remaining 2 lakhs it will be 7.5%, 15,000. So that means the depreciation given as per the P&L account, that is 2 lakh, will become disallowed business expenses and it will be added back. Just take a look over here, disallowed business expenses. Under disallowed business expenses, depreciation debited to profit and loss account, 2 lakhs will be added back. And see, depreciation over here they have written non-business income. Under non-business income only this 2 will be there. For this it will be unrecorded business expenses. Please write over here unrecorded business expenses 2,25,000 and it will be subtracted. Okay, less. Depreciation is done. We have to calculate HP. For HP, annual value of self-occupied property is nil. Less deduction under section 24. Interest on housing loan 23,000 will be allowed. If you have studied my set off and carry forward, you know house property loss can be deducted from PGPP also. So we can deduct from the PGPP income. Now let's see the PNL, the transactions in the PNL account. Administrative charges we have done in the adjustment. To state VAT penalty. VAT penalty is not allowed. I have shown you all, again I am showing you all. Just wait a second, let me remove that page. See, taxes related to goods are allowed. Penalty related to any act not allowed. Since VAT is an act, it is not allowed. So simply write disallowed business expenses, add back. Disallowed business expenses, add back. 5,000 is added back. Okay. State VAT paid, it is allowed. Taxes paid related to the goods and services, it is allowed. General expenses in the nature of revenue, section 37 allowed. We have done interest, we have done depreciation also. So we are done. Now let's see the income column. Dividend from the domestic company, it will become disallowed business income, it will be added back. By income from agriculture, it will become disallowed business income, it will be added back. Dividend from domestic company, it is become the part of income from other sources. But since they have only told you to compute the total income of Mr. Raju for the assessment year 2016, you can do that. I'll show you. Dividend is exempt under section 1034 and agriculture income is exempt under section 1031. So you can write it, or you can make income from other sources head like this. Income from house property, how it is made, you can make income from other sources and you can write this dividend income less exemption under section 10 subsection 34. And income from agriculture, write 1,80,000 less exemption under section 10 subsection 1, 1,80,000 and nil. Income from other sources 0. And finally we get we get the gross total income 3,80,000, less we have to deduct 80C, less deduction under section 80C in respect of principal repayment of housing loan 50,000, and total income comes to rupees 3,10,000. Computation of depreciation is given over here. I have calculated on my calc, sorry for that, but this working is quite helpful. So I hope you all have got the grip on this chapter. I'll want you all to solve the computation of total income and tax payable related to PGPP sum and PNL account sums, so that you will get a proper grip on this chapter. Exclude the salary sum. When I will be teaching you all salary, after that please solve the salary sums also. If you have any problem related any sum in this chapter, please put the question number in the comment section. I'll solve the sum personally. I'll not do it in the practice manual. I'll solve it. If it is easy in the practice manual, then I'll explain you from the practice manual. If it is not easy, then I'll make my own notes. I'll solve it personally for you and I'll upload it. Thank you.